She's invisible, unstoppable, and deadly, known only as Ghost Current, the sniper who disappears into rivers and bends the battlefield to her will. From freezing canals in Kandahar to high-stakes hostage rescues, every shot she takes is impossible until it happens. I've always believed that water remembers. Maybe that's why I'm still here, crouched in a canal on the outskirts of Kandahar, the blackness around me broken only by the faint moonlight reflecting off the rippling surface. For 3 hours I've floated beneath the surface, rifle sealed in waterproof casing, breathing through a rebreather that keeps me invisible, silent, almost unreal. They don't know I exist. The Taliban sniper who's pinned the U.S. operators thinks he's untouchable, perched nearly 900 meters away, confident in his scope. I've been him before. And yet, he'll never hear the shot that ends his career tonight. They'll only hear it on our secure channels. The faintest whisper that signals the impossible has happened. My call sign is Ghost Current. For 6 months, it's been a rumor, a story whispered in briefing rooms and over encrypted radios. A woman sniper who disappears into rivers, who bends terrain to her will, who strikes without leaving a trace. And no one wants to believe it, until they do. Fort Valor, Virginia. Present day. I sit in the Joint Special Operations Command briefing room, my uniform heavy with medals that carry histories most soldiers will never touch. At 28, the sharp lines of my face tell of years spent somewhere between the front line and invisibility, between missions recorded and those that never existed on paper. My hands are steady as I open the briefing folder handed to me by General Davenport. Across the table sit 15 men, Delta officers, SEAL commanders, Green Beret captains, each weighing if I'm the solution to a problem they've failed to solve. They need a ghost, someone who moves like water, fluid, silent, unstoppable. Someone who has already spent 4 years under the Joint Special Sniper Command, completing missions that didn't officially happen, leaving no bodies, no traces, just legends. I study the dossier in front of me. 3 bronze stars, a pending silver, multiple commendations. The file barely hints at the missions I can't talk about, the high-value targets neutralized, entire squads saved by one calm eye and a precise finger. They've given me the nickname I earned in Syria, the River Wraith. I think of where it all started. Red Willow Reservation, Montana. My grandfather, a former Marine Force recon sniper, raised me after my parents died. He taught me more than marksmanship. He taught me how to read wind by watching grass, how to slow my heartbeat until it nearly disappeared, and how to move through water as if it were an extension of my own body. By 14, I could hold my breath nearly 4 minutes. By 18, I was in the Army, seeking sniper school over tradition. By 24, I had been selected for JSOC, the youngest woman ever in the unit. And by 26, I had completed shots that most snipers call impossible. General Davenport finally closes the file and fixes me with a steady look. Ghost Current, he begins. We have a situation. I already know what he means. My mind skips to the satellite images projected on the screen. A desolate compound nestled in irrigation canals. Every route watched, every escape covered. 32 American contractors are held hostage. A rogue Afghan officer, one of ours who turned traitor, knows our playbook. 2 SEAL teams already failed, and Delta's night assault plan would cost too many lives. I lean forward, asking the only question that matters. What's the water temperature in those canals? A Delta major snorts. 62 degrees in October. Hypothermia will get you in under an hour. I let my eyes meet his. I can endure 4 to 5 hours. That's enough to infiltrate, settle into position, and dismantle this operation. Give me a 2-person support team, my MSR, and 12 hours to prep. No helicopters, no loud breaches, no drawn-out firefights. The room falls silent. I can hear the doubt. I can feel it. I also know they've never met anyone like me. Understood, General Davenport says finally. The hostages include the Secretary of Defense's niece. You'll have 72 hours to extract them. If this fails, I don't fail, I interrupt. I adapt. I adjust. I finish. The Major scoffs again. No woman has ever. Gender doesn't pull a trigger, Major. I reply, sharp as a rifle scope. Training does. Patience does. Or do you want to send another team to die? The room falls silent again. I glance out the window at the river beyond Fort Valor, dark and patient. My grandfather's words echo. The river doesn't fight the rocks, child. It flows around, beneath, through. Be the river. And that night, I will become it. 6 hours later, I step onto the edge of the canal, the night air sharp against my wetsuit. My MSR is cradled in a waterproof sleeve, my rebreather hissing softly with each controlled inhale. Behind me, Sergeant First Class Moreno and Master Sergeant Jensen set up our overwatch position, their thermal optics trained on the winding irrigation network. Ghost current moving in. I whisper into my bone conduction mic, letting my voice drift like a shadow across the water. The current is stronger than expected, swollen from snowmelt in the distant mountains. I adjust my entry point, sinking quietly into the icy black, feeling it wrap around my body like a cold, living cloak. The water is a weapon, a shield, and tonight, my lifeline. I let it carry me, letting the debris and silt form natural camouflage as I drift toward the compound. I've mapped this approach hundreds of times in my head. Every bend, every overhanging reed, every submerged wall is memorized. If one misstep exposes me, 32 lives will hang in the balance. My pulse slows, my body tuned to the rhythm of the canal. The temperature bites at my core, but I let it pass through me, respecting it, enduring it, knowing it will not betray me if I do the same. 90 minutes in, I reach my height. Storm debris has created a shallow alcove, barely large enough to hold me, but perfect. From here, I can watch without being seen. My scope emerges from the water, droplets sliding down like liquid glass. 17 guards patrol the perimeter, their movements rigid and repetitive, patterns that become my own in seconds. I watch Rashid, the rogue commander, appear briefly in the moonlight. He pauses to pray, unaware that the river itself has eyes tonight. I want to take the shot, to end this immediately, but I can't risk a mistake. One wrong move, and the hostages die. I inhale slowly, letting the cold strip away everything but focus. Thermal confirms hostages still in Northwest Building. Jensen reports through the earpiece. My relief is quiet, measured. The proof I need to act. Rashid moves toward the building, trays in hand. 32 lives, still intact. The minutes stretch. Dawn is hours away. I shift slightly, testing my position, listening to the river hum around me. It knows I'm here, as I know its secrets. Every pulse, every ripple is accounted for. This is my element. I have lived for moments like this, though no one outside JSOC has ever heard of them. I think of my grandfather, teaching me to read water like a book. He said rivers were like life, patient, flowing, unstoppable. Tonight, I am both student and master. Then Rashid reappears, holding a camera. My stomach tightens. Execution. One of the contractors is dragged forward, a spectacle meant to terrify. My hands remain steady. I calculate range, wind, drop, and velocity. 447 meters, 6-mile-per-hour crosswind. Full value. The world narrows to a single point, my finger on the trigger. I can feel every heartbeat around me, every breath of every guard, every pulse of the river. My body is hypothermic, but my training is hotter than any fire. The shot will come, precise, perfect. Ready when you are, Jensen whispers. I exhale. The river holds its breath with me. The river doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. I've always admired that about it. Tonight, I need that patience. I settle into the debris hide, body pressed low, breathing steady, every muscle attuned to the rhythm of the water and the compound before me. Rashid begins his propaganda speech, the camera swinging lazily in his grip. One of the contractors is forced to his knees, eyes wide with terror. I focus on the details, the guard holding the camera, another standing too close to the hostages, the rhythm of patrols. Everything has a pattern, everything has a weakness. Wind has shifted slightly, Moreno notes in my earpiece. 6 o'clock, minor crosswind. Take it when ready. I adjust the MSR, water beating along the optic as I lift it just enough to clear the surface. My fingers dance over the bolt with the precision of years drilled into muscle memory. Core temperature? 93 degrees. Hypothermia has begun its silent work, but I'm trained to work past it. I don't flinch. I don't hesitate. The first round leaves the barrel like a whisper. Rashid's temple erupts in a single, precise impact. The world around me fractures into controlled chaos. I've broken the spell before it even started. 2 more rounds follow. The cameraman drops mid-motion. A guard moving to intercept the hostages collapses, chest pierced before he can react. The compound erupts into panic. I adjust my position slightly, letting the current carry me 20 meters downstream, sliding into the next pocket of cover. The water is my ally, absorbing the bullets that find me, carrying me unseen. I can hear shouts, gunfire, chaos, all confirmations that my calculations were correct. I cycle the bolt, exhale slowly, and focus on the next target. 2 guards have spotted my muzzle flash, firing into the canal, but the water swallows their shots. I let them shoot until their magazines click empty. The river has protected me, just as it always has. Jensen's voice breaks through. Delta and SEALs inbound. 3 minutes. I don't wait for extraction. I move, slipping into the shadow of the next building, picking off 2 more guards who attempt to flank the hostages. Each shot precise, deliberate, almost surgical. Time stretches, and yet, in these seconds, I am both predator and shield. The rotors thunder in the distance, signaling the insertion of additional forces. But I stay focused. Every remaining guard who threatens the hostages is counted, analyzed, neutralized. By the time the first boots hit the ground, I have already eliminated 15 of the 24 immediate threats. My body shakes violently from the cold, but my eyes remain open. Discipline, muscle memory, instinct, they override pain. Jensen and Moreno signal. Extraction is ready. I let the current guide me toward them, feeling the cold deepen, but knowing every second has been worth it. When they pull me from the canal, I can barely move. Core temperature, 91 degrees. Hypothermia has won its battle, but the mission has been mine. Every life accounted for, every hostage safe. I look at the sky as dawn begins to break, the river carrying away the last evidence of my passage. The river remembers. I remember too. Weeks later, I'm back in Fort Valor, standing once again in the same briefing room where my mission began. The river, cold and patient, still haunts my dreams, and the image of the hostages, relieved, scared, alive, lingers in my mind like a promise kept. General Davenport stands at the head of the table. His eyes meet mine, steady, unwavering, and for a moment, I sense the weight of everything that just happened. 15 men sit around us, Delta officers, SEAL commanders, Green Beret captains. Some of them had doubted me at first, some had outright mocked the plan. Now, they watch with a mix of awe and respect. You did what no one else could, Davenport says quietly. The operation was flawless. The hostages owe their lives to you. I nod, keeping my face neutral. Praise has never been my goal. Precision and discipline are my only measures. Still, the acknowledgement is not lost on me. Moreno and Jensen stand nearby, their presence a silent affirmation of the mission's success. They give me a nod, subtle, professional, and I return it. Our work was not about glory, it was about survival, and tonight, we succeeded. Davenport hands me an envelope. I open it slowly. Inside is a check, significant, though not the point, and a handwritten note. Ghost Current, we need your expertise. Teach others to move through water the way you do. Naval Special Warfare wants me. They want to learn from me. I allow myself a small, almost imperceptible smile. The river has always been my teacher, my ally, and now, in a way, I will teach others to respect it as I have. The Delta Major who had mocked my plan steps forward, face tight, with a mixture of regret and admiration. I owe you an apology, he says. My brother was one of the contractors you saved. I shake my head gently. No apology needed, Major. I was trained for this. That's all you need to know. Later, I walk alone to the edge of a quiet river near Fort Valor. The sun is dipping low, casting gold and pink across the surface. My phone buzzes. My nephew's voice lights up the speaker. Aunt, when are you coming home? Next week, little warrior, I promise. I'll teach you to shoot, just like your great-grandfather taught me. He laughs, excitement in his voice. Will you tell me about the river? I smile at the memory, the lessons, the quiet patience of the water that has shaped me. The river remembers everything, child, but it only shares its secrets with those who respect it. The river flows, carrying away the echoes of the mission. But I remain, anchored by memory and training, ready for whatever comes next. The briefing room is quiet now, filled only with the hum of computers and the faint scent of coffee. I sit at my desk at the sniper school, rifle laid across the table, manuals open, and maps scattered like puzzle pieces. Teaching has always been part of my rhythm, passing down the lessons my grandfather gave me. But now, my students don't yet understand that the most important truths aren't written in books. Miss Current, one of the students asks, "How do you disappear like that? I mean, how do you move through water and remain invisible?" I let a slow smile tug at my lips. It's a question I've been asked countless times, but few grasp the full meaning. You don't just move through water, I tell them. You become it. You respect it. You let it carry you, guide you, and conceal you. The moment you fight it, it defeats you. That's the lesson your target won't teach you. They only teach survival, not harmony. My mind drifts back to Kandahar. The cold. The current pressing against my body like a living thing. The panic, the shouts, the chaos I transformed into order with every heartbeat and every shot. I can still feel the water's grip on my arms, the river's subtle push, guiding me, protecting me, reminding me that patience is not weakness, it's power. Between classes, I go over the satellite imagery of the next assignment, studying compound layouts, canal depths, wind patterns, and guard rotations. Every detail must be logged, remembered, and planned. My students see only the surface, the techniques, the calculations, the rifles, but I see the invisible threads of a mission, timing, environment, human behavior. Flashbacks to Syria intrude. 14 hours in the Euphrates, under Delta Overwatch, eliminating ambush after ambush. 7 confirmed kills. 1 shot at 1,240 meters. Impossible, they said. And yet, there I was, cold water pressing against my body, heart steady, firing hand-loaded rounds that no one but me could trust. Every mission reinforces the same truth. Control what you can, respect what you can't. I glance at the river outside the sniper school, the flow calm, the water holding secrets I am not yet ready to share. My grandfather's lessons echo again. The river doesn't fight. It adapts, moves, endures. Tonight, I will need all of that patience again. Moreno and Jensen drop by to debrief me. Their presence is professional, but there's an unspoken acknowledgement in the room. Ghost Current, Moreno says quietly. Fort Valor's been buzzing. They're calling your last mission legendary. Legends don't survive cold canals and rogue snipers, I reply. My tone is dry, but my eyes hold the weight of experience. I survived because I respected the river, respected the rules, respected the variables. Jensen hands me a sealed envelope. Next target, he says. Another rogue operative, this time in a remote valley outside Jalalabad. Kidnapped diplomats. Intel's limited. You're our only option. I don't flinch. The calm I cultivate is not arrogance, it's preparation. I study the maps, the terrain, the water sources near the compound. My mind already calculates infiltration points, angles of approach, sniper positions, escape routes, and contingencies. The river is not there yet, but soon it will be. And when it is, I will be part of it. I pack my gear, checking every line, every seal, every piece of equipment. The rebreather, my waterproof casing, the MSR with hand-loaded rounds. Everything must function perfectly. Training doesn't fail. Rivers don't fail. And I've learned to become both. That night, I sit by a small stream near the base, the water flowing quietly under the stars. I close my eyes and remember the first time my grandfather placed a rifle in my hands at 8 years old. His grip was firm, his voice steady. The river will teach you things the land cannot. Watch it, respect it, become it. And I have. I will. The valley outside Jalalabad is silent, save for the occasional distant bark of a dog or the faint rustle of leaves in the wind. I move along the edge of the stream, the water cold but familiar against my wet suit. My rebreather hums softly, each breath controlled, measured, deliberate. Behind me, Moreno and Jensen set up a perch on a ridge overlooking the valley floor, their optics trained on the target compound. I whisper into the mic, Ghost Current entering the stream. The words barely ripple the air, yet they carry the weight of someone who has done this before. And many times. The target compound sits in a shallow depression, surrounded by rugged hills and thin irrigation canals that crisscross the fields. Intelligence is limited, but every bit I have is committed to memory. The kidnappers are a small, disciplined group, former militia with experience, but they've never faced me. The water carries me silently. I let it guide my movements, slipping beneath branches, around low-hanging walls, through pockets of silt and debris. My pulse is slow, my mind attuned to every detail. The angle of light on metal roofs, the pattern of guard rotations, the spacing between posts. I am both observer and predator. An hour in, I pause behind a collapsed wall where the canal bends sharply. I peer through my scope. 6 guards patrol the perimeter, another 2 near the gate, weapons ready. Beyond them, the hostages huddle in a makeshift holding area. Their fear is palpable, but they are alive. That is enough for now. Water temperature? Jensen asks. 58 degrees, I reply calmly. Low enough to slow muscles, high enough to remain functional. I'll endure. I inch forward, letting the current sweep me closer. The debris and silt form natural cover, hiding my silhouette from thermal optics. I know the terrain, every rock, every ripple, every small pool that will either betray or protect me. The river has taught me this. It whispers, and I listen. As I reach my chosen hide, 400 meters from the main building, I set the MSR on a makeshift rest. My gloved hands are steady, my eyes scanning the compound for patterns. One guard moves slightly out of sync, an opportunity. Another rotates near the gate. Every detail is logged, every potential shot calculated. I breathe slowly, letting the cold seep through my body but not my mind. Hypothermia is a shadow I've danced with before. It's a challenge, not a threat. I focus, the river flowing around me, carrying me closer to the moment where precision meets inevitability. Suddenly, the gate creaks. A lone guard approaches, unaware of the predator beneath the water. My finger rests lightly on the trigger. The world narrows. Heartbeat, breath, wind, distance, impact. The first shot echoes softly, muffled by the water, and the guard collapses. The rhythm begins. Bolt, breathe, squeeze, cycle. Every movement fluid, precise, silent. Panic ripples through the compound. The river has become my ally, absorbing every threat, guiding every step, concealing every presence. Jensen whispers, 2 minutes until delta insertion. Stay steady. I nod into the darkness, letting the current cradle me as I prepare for the next wave of action. The hostages are counting on me. The river is counting on me, and I cannot fail. The river's cold has seeped into my bones, but my hands remain steady. Every movement is measured, deliberate. Through the scope, I watched the compound spiral into controlled chaos. The first guard fell silently. The second, caught mid-step, collapses with barely a sound. Rifle rested on the debris. I cycle the bolt, eyes locked on the next target. A guard steps too close to the hostages, unaware of the line of sight now trained on him. Breath, aim, squeeze. He drops, mid-motion, and the 3 remaining hostiles react instantly, firing blindly in the direction they think the threat comes from. Bullets hit the water, the current swallowing their violence. Delta inbound in 90 seconds, Jensen whispers. I allow the information to settle, a silent countdown I've already accounted for. My mind calculates remaining threats, angles, and timing. Through the scope, I see Rashid second in command trying to barricade the hostages in a small building. The range is short, sub 300 meters, but every shot must be perfect. One miss, one panic trigger, and the hostages are at risk. I adjust for crosswind, hold my breath, and fire. The man drops before he can raise his weapon. I slide downstream 10 meters, the current carrying me as I find new cover behind a pile of debris. 2 more guards have moved to intercept me. Quick, fluid. Bolt, breathe, squeeze. Both fall in succession, silent victims to a calculated and inevitable fate. The hostages, previously huddled and paralyzed with fear, begin to stir. I track a man trying to move them toward an exit. His back is open, his stance predictable. Another shot threads perfectly, and he collapses without alerting the others. Extraction is green. 3 minutes, Jensen reports. I allow myself the smallest nod. Delta's insertion is imminent. The rotors echo faintly over the ridge. Soon, reinforcements will stabilize the perimeter. I glance once more at the remaining 2 guards nearest the hostages. They react too slowly, unaware of the predator in the water. Bolt, breathe, squeeze. Both drop. The immediate threat neutralized. The hostages are free. Fear melts into relief as Delta operators rappel into the compound, securing exits, guiding each American to safety. I stay low, letting the water carry me downstream, invisible still, as the extraction team takes control. Jensen and Moreno signal my extraction point. My body trembles violently, not from fear, but from hypothermia. Core temperature, 90 degrees. Deep, dangerous. But the mission is complete. Every hostage accounted for, every target neutralized. When they pull me from the canal, I barely feel the cold. I am more ghost than woman, more river than human. I hand off the last of my targets. The compound, now a tableau of victory, meticulously executed. The river flows beside us, indifferent and eternal. It remembers everything. And so do I. Fort Valor feels different after a mission like this. The air seems heavier, thicker with tension and unspoken respect. I step into the briefing room once more, dripping from the extraction, hypothermia still clawing at my core, but my mind razor sharp. The same 15 men who doubted me before now study me with a mix of awe and caution. General Davenport doesn't waste words. Ghost current, he says evenly. The operation was flawless. Every hostage accounted for. Every threat neutralized. You've done what no one else could. I nod, letting the weight of their acknowledgement settle without needing to speak. My focus isn't on medals or praise. It's on precision, on mission, on survival. Still, I notice the subtle nods from Moreno and Jensen, pride reflected quietly in their eyes. They understand. The Delta Major who mocked my first plan steps forward, face tight with tension. I owe you an apology, he says, voice rough. My brother was one of the diplomats you saved. I didn't believe. No apology needed. I reply simply. I was trained for this. That's all that matters. Davenport slides a sealed envelope across the table. Inside is a check and a note. Ghost Current, your techniques are required for a combat watercraft program. Teach others to move as you do. Naval Special Warfare wants me to train their personnel in the river's secrets. I allow a small, private smile. The river has always been my teacher. Now I will teach others to respect its lessons, to move like it moves, to endure as it endures. Hours later, I walk beside a quiet river near the base. The water flows undisturbed, carrying reflections of stars, trees, and the memories of missions past. My phone vibrates. My nephew's excited voice rings out. Aunt Clara, when are you coming home? Next week, little warrior, I promise. I'll teach you to shoot, just like your great-grandfather taught me. Will you tell me about the river? I smile, staring at the flowing water. The river remembers everything, child, but it only shares its secrets with those who respect it. Later, back in my quarters, I finally allow my body to relax. Hypothermia lingers and tremors, but my mind remains alert. I replay every shot, every movement, every calculation. The river flows outside my window, eternal and indifferent, yet alive with lessons I've learned and will continue to teach. And somewhere, across secure channels, a single message circulates quietly among special operations units. The River Wraith is real, and she belongs to us. The classroom is silent, save for the soft hum of fans and the occasional scrape of boots against the floor. I stand before a group of eager, disciplined students, each one carrying the weight of their own ambition and the fire of young operators still untested. They call me Ghost Current, but here, that name is less about legend and more about technique. I demonstrate a low-water approach, showing how to enter a stream without leaving a trace, how to let the current carry your weight, how to hide in plain sight using only natural cover. They watch, some skeptical, some in awe, but I see the potential in every pair of eyes. The river doesn't care about titles or gender, and neither do I. Only results matter. Remember, I tell them, tracing the path of a floating leaf across the water with my hand. The river doesn't resist. It adapts. It protects. You must learn to move as it moves. To fight it is to lose. A student hesitates, trying to adjust his wetsuit. But what if the water is too cold? I lock eyes with him. Then you endure. Respect it. Let it shape your strategy. Hypothermia is not an enemy if you know its limits. Control what you can, respect what you can't. Between lessons, I review intel for a new assignment. The operators I train will one day face scenarios where rivers, canals, and streams become lifelines or death traps. I must prepare them better than I was prepared, faster, sharper, smarter. Every shot I've taken, every mission I've survived, every river I've traversed becomes a lesson they can carry forward. I catch myself thinking of my grandfather, the first man to teach me patience and precision. The rifle he placed in my hands, the quiet wisdom he shared, it all flows through me still. I teach not just marksmanship, not just tactics, but respect for the invisible forces, the wind, the water, the rhythm of human behavior, that determine survival. Later, I sit by the base river, a notebook on my lap, recording observations for my students. My nephew's voice echoes in my memory, eager and bright. Will you tell me about the river? I smile, pen poised. The river remembers everything. It only shares its secrets with those who listen, who respect it, who endure. The river flows past me, patient, eternal, and I know that every mission, every lesson, every life saved, is carried forward in its current. My legacy is not in medals, not in accolades, but in the quiet ripple of knowledge that will reach the next generation of warriors. And as night falls, I watch the water shimmer under the moonlight, feeling both the weight of the past and the promise of what is to come. Ghost Current is no longer just a name. It is a way of moving, a way of thinking, a way of surviving. The first light of dawn glints off the river outside Fort Valor, casting long reflections across the surface. I sit on the bank, boots kicked off, rifle leaning against a tree, notebook open, pen in hand. The river flows endlessly, carrying stories of battles, victories, and secrets that no one else will ever know. And like the river, I carry my own. My phone buzzes. It's my nephew. Aunt Clara, are you coming home today? I smile, imagining the small, eager face waiting for me. Soon, little warrior. Soon. And we'll go hunting like I promised. He giggles, the sound bright against the muted hum of the water. Will you tell me the river's secrets? I close my notebook and look out at the flowing current. The river remembers everything, child, I say softly. It keeps its memories safe, but it shares its secrets only with those who respect it, who endure, who listen. Months have passed since Jalalabad, since the missions that tested my body and mind to their limits. Medals hang quietly in my office, but I no longer measure myself by them. My satisfaction comes from preparation, precision, and the knowledge that the people I've trained will carry these lessons forward. The river has taught me that survival is not just about skill. It's about patience, observation, and respect for forces larger than oneself. A knock on the door interrupts my thoughts. Moreno steps in, a quiet smile on his face. You're needed at the command center, he says. New intel came in. They want your assessment. I nod. Duty never sleeps, and neither do I. Ghost Current is more than a name. It's a commitment, a rhythm, a flow that never ceases. Before leaving, I take one last look at the river. Its surface glimmers in the morning light, indifferent yet alive. It has seen everything, the missions, the shots, the lives saved. It has taught me patience, endurance, and the strength to move unseen, unheard, unstoppable. As I step onto the path leading back to the base, I feel the weight of all I've done and the promise of all that is yet to come. Ghost Current is not a legend in the traditional sense. I do not seek fame. I do not seek recognition. I move like water, quiet, relentless, impossible to grasp, leaving only results in my wake. And somewhere, across private channels, the whispers continue. The River Wraith is real, and she belongs to us. I am Ghost Current. I am the river, and I will endure.